Yeah, hello everyone. Good evening. Uh, I hope you guys can hear me. If you guys can hear me, just type in the chat box. Okay, so let us start the session. So in this session is going to be a very brief one. So due diligence or DD is not actually a topic which can be discussed in 30 minutes or 1 hour. It's a vast topic. So I'm planning to have multiple sessions on DD, how to encompass a DD for a startup, and like what all things you should do, like to have a very easy DD and all. So we'll be discussing all those aspects in the coming sessions. So in this session, we'll be actually giving you a brief outline on what a DD is and how a DD function. It's going to be a very short, very kind of brief session. So I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, so I think everyone can see my screen. Fine. Can you type out? Yeah. Okay, fine, fine, fine. So yeah, so this in this session we'll be discussing about due diligence for startups. So due diligence, or I'll be using DD in most of the places. So DD is a short form of due diligence. So if you were to ask me, I've been working with few micro VCs and angel investor network, and I've been performing DD for many startups since past 4 5 years. So here in this session, like I told, I'll be explaining giving you a brief idea on what a DD is, and in the next coming sessions, we'll be discussing in more detail about DD. So firstly, let us try to understand what a DD is. So DD is nothing but it involves the review of a company's finances, assets, liabilities, its structure, operations, potential and present litigation, and all other relevant business activities. So if you ask me why a startup is getting or why a startup need to be going through a DD process before an investment. So I hope you guys, I don't know how many of you have joined the previous session, but if you look at the fundraising process flow, we have an investor outreach. So the once the investor shows interest, they'll be giving us a term sheet, and after term sheet, we'll be having the DD. So only if the DD is successful and there are no much comments about the company, then only the deal would be going ahead. So if you were to listen, I think there was a deal wherein PhonePe or somebody was planning to acquire Zest Money, and the deal got cancelled after the DD. So DD is basically a consultant. It can be a CA firm or some business consultant guys. They'll be coming in and reviewing your finances. They'll be reviewing your books of accounts. They'll be reviewing your compliances, and also how you are operating, how your revenue has been going, and what are the kind of potential risk, potential threats associated with your business. And if you haven't been that compliant, then what is the potential penalty that you will have to pay? So these things would be verified in the DD, and the DD team, the consultant, would be reporting the same with the investor. Based on that, the investor would be taking a call whether to invest in your startup. And if the uh, issues are not that much, then they may ask you to clear all these things in maybe a span of 10 days or 15 days or maybe 30 days, and then again come back. Or if the issues are not that critical, they will actually give you time after the fund has hit in your account, and then we can do those things. So these things are called conditions precedent and conditions subsequent. So things which need to be done before a fund hits your account or an investment comes into your account, that is called conditions precedent. And things which has to be done after the fund is hit in your account is condition subsequent. So all these things form part of DD. And if you ask me what is the scope of a DD, there is no such defined scope for a DD. It actually depends upon the deal size and what the investor wants the DD team to be checked. That is the main criteria here. Okay. So like I told, like DD is the review of the company's finances, assets, liabilities, its structure, operations, potential, and present litigation, and all other relevant business activities. I hope you guys got a basic understand, it is basically a third-party verification of your books of accounts, finances, operations, HR activities, and all those things. Okay. So we'll discuss about what are the different types of DD now. So basically, I've categorized DD into four main categories. There can be DDs apart from this. One is the technical and IP DD. Second is the tax and financial DD. Then we have the HR DD, human resources DD. Then we have the legal and secretarial DD. So basically, technical and IP DD is so if you are a tech company or a software company, there can be a consultant who can review the licenses of your software, like how much technically your software would be fulfilling. I mean, what your software has achieved. Is there any bugs or anything, or what are the softwares that you are using? Is there any open software that you're using which can be of any threat to the technical this one, whether there is any data breach or anything? These things would be reviewed in a technical DD. So IPDD is the intellectual property DD. So if you are a software, same case, if you are a software company and you're building some IP or something, in that case, they will be reviewing the documentation related to the IP, how the creation of IP has been done, whether you have applied it properly, whether you have got the registration, these things. So this thing happened mainly for a tech company. Then the common DD, what happens for almost every startup an investor invests in is the tax and financial DD. So here the DD team, so basically it can be a chartered accountant. So they will be reviewing the uh, kind of finances of your company, how good you have been performing over the past 3 years, say, and then how much compliant you have been with GST, income tax, and all other regulatory thing, and how have you been kind of performing with the forecast that you have prepared, the projections that you have done, how is your performance with respect to that, and all those things would be reviewed here. And also based on that, the DD team would be giving a kind of list of taxes that has to be paid with the uh, applicable penalty and interest. So that is what happens in a tax and financial DD. And then we have the HRDD. Here, the DD team would be reviewing the contracts with the employees, the labor law compliances, the work culture, industry standards, all those things would be reviewed in an HRDD. This happens like kind of not in every DD. In maybe for a later stage funding, only an HRDD is conducted. However, the HR documents and things would be reviewed in most of the DDs. Apart from that, the whether the work culture, the industry standards, I'm not sure. I haven't seen in many cases. So yeah, so that is about HRDD. Then we have the legal and secretarial DD. So this can be treated as an extension of tax and financial DD. So in a legal and secretarial DD, the DD team would be reviewing the all the legal documents. So if you have some agreement with a consultant, or if you have some uh, user agreement with your clients, the DD team would be reviewing all these agreement, whether it is valid as per Indian laws. Is there any violation that you have written in the agreement? Is there something which is not going to stand, or not going to be applicable in case? So those things would be reviewed. And in the secretarial DD, it is mainly related to the MCA filings. So this Ministry of Corporate Affairs, a company has to file a lot of things with the MCA. So whether those filings are proper, whether you have a proper share certificate, whether you are holding meetings for the company, whether you have a minutes register, whether you have a meetings register, whether you have other statutory registers as prescribed by law, these things would be reviewed in the secretarial part. So again, briefing the things, like these are the main four kind of DDs. One is a technical and IP DD. It's mostly applicable for a tech company. Then we have the tax and financial DD, wherein the tax aspect and financial aspect of a company would be reviewed by a mostly by a CFO or a business consultant. Then we have the HR DD, wherein they review the employment contract, the labor laws, uh, labor relations, regulatory policies, and those sort of things. And then we have the legal and secretarial DD, wherein the DD team would be reviewing the agreements of the company. It can be a rental agreement. It can be an agreement with a consultant. It can be a user agreement with a customer. All those things would be reviewed. And also the secretarial DD, wherein they review the secretarial part of the company, which comes predominantly with the MCA. So this is all what I have to share with you for this session. So I just wanted to give you an outline on what DD is in this session. So that is all about this session. So if you have any questions, you can ask me right now. And in the coming sessions, we'll be going a bit more detail into DD, because I don't want to speak everything today in one session because it's going to be complicated. So I just thought I'll touch base a kind of a brief understanding of what a DD is. And in next sessions, we will be discussing how to encompass a DD, how to keep your books DD ready and all. So if you guys have any questions, you can raise your hand or put in the comment box. I'll unmute you and then this one. So what is the secretarial part of a company? So Shrijin. I'll unmute you, Shrijin. Yeah, Shrijin.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, actually, I'm learning about the startup world, okay, in the business. Actually, what does mean the secretarial part of the company? What does it actually mean?
So secretarial part of the company means the compliances with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs or Register of Companies. So if you are, so basically, if you are raising funds, you should be ideally a private limited company, because I haven't seen any funds coming in LLPs and partnership firms. So you will be a private limited company, and there are a lot of compliances which the Companies Act mandates for a private limited company. So the secretarial part covers whether you have complied with all these things. For example, there should be 4 meetings in a year. The difference between two board meetings in a year, the difference between two board meetings should not be more than 120 days. There is a condition like that. Also, if you are taking, you'll be giving share certificates to the shareholders of the company, whether you have given the share certificates to the shareholders, whether you are maintaining statutory registers as prescribed by law. These sort of things would be verified there. It's basically related to Ministry of Corporate Affairs and Companies Act. I hope that answer your query, Shijin. Yeah, does anybody else have any question? See, please don't hesitate asking questions. I just want the session to be more interactive. So if you ask questions, it will be of helpful for others also. Anyone? Okay, so if there is no more questions, I think we'll wind up the session. So yeah, so thank you everyone for attending. So we'll be having the next sessions very shortly. We won't be waiting for 2 weeks time. So we'll be having it very shortly. We'll update you about the timing of the session. For that, you can join our WhatsApp group. There is a WhatsApp group wherein we update about the session. So Dinesh, if you can share the details of the WhatsApp group. Is it mandatory to have review of DD by a CFO? Yeah, Shailaja, can you speak? Can you ask your doubt?
Hello, hi. Thank
Yeah.
you for the session. I have been following all your sessions very diligently. Pun on the word. So I actually came across a research firm
Mhm.
who does all kinds of research, even investment research.
Okay.
They basically doing the DD for firms.
Okay.
But is it okay? I mean, is it acceptable?
See, there is no mandatory requirement as to whether it should be done by a CA firm or anything. So the reason why which most of the investors go with a CA firm is because they are good at the tax and financial part of it. So I have been
Right.
working with lawyers. I have been working with other professionals. I have been working with company secretaries for DD, wherein we are collaboratively working on an assignment. So wherein I'll be doing, so I am basically a chartered accountant. I'll be doing the financial and tax part of the DD. There will be a lawyer who will be doing the legal part of the DD. and there will be a company secretary who does the secretarial part of the DD. So that can also happen. So it shouldn't ideally be a CFO, but see, it depends. Like the investor, the idea is to kind of make the investor aware of the potential threats, like what the company is, what the current state of the company is. So how they have been doing. Is there any kind of major red flags? So if even if uh, for example, even if there is some kind of red flags. I mean, when the investor puts in money and whole of the money is utilized for paying the penalty of the company, that shouldn't be happening. No, so the investor also need their money to be utilized wisely. So for that, DD is being done. So there is no such necessity like it should be done by a CFO. I hope that answers
Yeah,
your.
but it makes sense because the CA knows about the financials and in accordance to all the legal terms.
Yeah, that is very true. Like we also do DD for the I mean we do kind of financial, legal and secretarial part, but I'm not sure, like we never do the technical DD because I'm kind of unaware of like what to check there. So regarding the financial, tax and legal and secretarial part, like CA firms can be of great help.
And is DD clubbed with the valuation of the company?
See, that depends. Like, definitely there is going to be a negotiation. Like, but see, usually the negotiation happens before the DD because you have a term sheet in place, no? So you have a term sheet, but the term sheet is not actually a binding agreement. Terms in the term sheet can be altered lately when you go for the deal. So suppose you negotiated a deal and you got a good valuation, but later on in the DD, there are a lot of mishaps and there are, I mean, a lot of red flags. And the investor can have two options. Either they can proceed with the funding or they can avoid the funding. They can kind of needn't do the funding also. So if that is the case, or if they are proceeding with the DD, maybe they can negotiate at that point also. See, unless and until you have the deal closed or you have the agreement signed, there is always a room for negotiation. So if you ask me, is it directly linked with valuation? I wouldn't say it's not directly linked with valuation, but it can be linked with valuation. There is no direct linkage. So yeah.
Thank you. I have another question though in relation with this.
Mhm.
I wanted to know if like we are putting up a venture fund together along with friends.
Mhm.
So my question is, uh, they are more insisting on doing the DD first
Mhm.
before the term sheet.
Okay.
They're saying because then we get to know, we can show or project the value of the company much more because for startups it's not very easy to prove. There is not much of a track record to actually prove. So only track record would be the DDs if they follow the DDs very well.
Yeah, I
Is
wouldn't
it right?
recommend that because see, there is a cost associated with the DD. So either the investor or the startup has to bear the cost. So
Yes,
if it's not for a deal, that's not going to happen. Why would you want to spend? So definitely you'll be having an initial call with the founder, and I believe the investment happens mainly based on the founders and the team and the idea. It's not based on the uh, like the numbers they would be telling us in the I mean the pitching stage. They will be telling us few numbers. Definitely the BD team would be verifying that numbers, but see, term sheet is not a binding agreement first of all. So if you give a term sheet and later
right.
some negative things happen, the deal can actually go off. Even there has been cases in where I have associated, we have done the DD, and after submitting the DD report, the deal has actually kind of gone off. So there can be things like that.
Okay,
But I wouldn't suggest to have a DD before the term sheet because who is going to bear the cost for the DD? There's a big
right,
question. So if
right.
the venture fund that you are setting up is going to bear the cost, then definitely it's your call. But if you want
Yeah,
to
we charge membership, so I think this is what we are trying to work it out. We bear the cost in partnership with the uh, investor.
got it, got it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think Shailaja, if you can get reach out to me personally on this, like I think we can
Yeah,
discuss.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely. It'll be very helpful for us.
sure, sure, sure.
Sure, definitely. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So like Ramanathan has asked a question on ATIAC. So see, ATIAC is not actually a part of this session, so I think we'll discuss about it later. Definitely, we'll be having a session on ATIAC and what are the tax benefits that are available to startups. So I think we'll discuss about that in a later episode. I hope that is fine, Ramanathan. Somebody has raised the hands, it seems. Is there any other question? Sir, should we submit to MCA that when our board will conduct a meeting? See, there are a few compliances, Srijin, that as an entrepreneur, I don't think you should be aware of all the compliances. I mean, you should be aware, but definitely you should be having a company secretary or a chartered accountant in place who will be taking care of the filings and all. Like there are few technical filings related to that, which I really don't want to speak here, mainly because of the complexity of such things. The topic would sound very complex. So yeah, so it's better like you consult your CS or CA regarding that. Definitely they will help you with such things. There are few filings definitely. Does anybody else have any question? So Ramnathan, like I advise you to be join the WhatsApp group link which Dinesh has posted a while ago. Dinesh, if you can post that once again, it would be helpful. So we'll be updating about the sessions there again and again. And the thing is that like kind of see mostly I'll be covering DD as a series in the next 2 or 3 episode, and then only maybe I'll be moving on to ATIS or some other topic. Okay, is there any other question for anyone, or can we wind up the session? Please feel free to ask any questions. Yeah, Sundar will be sharing the session recording in the WhatsApp group. So I hope we can wind up the session. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying patiently in the session. So we'll meet soon with more technical aspects about DD. Thank you, everyone. Wishing you all a very good evening. Okay. Thank you.